and welcome back. Today I have a brand new, messy, but very fun to make card for you today. We're going to be featuring our In Like a Lion and Out Like a Lamb clear stamp sets. This is perfect for March, for spring, and for welcoming in the new season. Now, to use our stamp sets today, first I have to do quite a bit of prep work for my card, but the effect it's going to create is really, really unique and very cool. To make this effect, I'm going to be using 2 of these little spray bottles, and you can see on my hands I have already started to use them. These are called Memories Mists, and it is a extremely fine mist spray of pigments, and these are really cool for antiquing your designs, your paper, for creating a really fun splatter, painting, speckling effect. And we're going to be using these to make a scenery for our little lamb to be kind of leaping through a field with a blue sky and a nice grassy field. The colors I'm using today are Blueberry Shake and Wheatgrass. In addition to that, I have some Remarks Pigment Ink stamps. Here I have Robin's Egg Blue, and here I believe it's Canary Yellow. As always, I have my black as well. And I'm going to be using these different colored pigment inks for the clouds and the wind, yellow for the sun, and black for the lamb. So that's why I have those there. And I already have cut out all my little die cuts from my Cricut machine. So I'm going to put these off to the side with the small and medium clear block. Now, this project is messy, but that's what makes it fun and that's what gives it such a unique look. With that in mind, please be working on a surface that is protected with either a cutting mat or newspaper or a tablecloth, something that you won't mind getting this splattered look to, because since it is such a fine, delicate mist, it travels and it will go very far. So keep that in mind. Here I am using an actual watercolor paper. With these fine mists, you really want a high quality paper. Higher quality than cardstock, because cardstock will start to really curl and the ink itself will get kind of dull. So with this watercolor paper, I'm able to have it just keep that nice saturation and overall look without fading. I've already cut out my paper to match my card today, with the rounded corners, of course. And I'm not adhering this to my card yet because this project's going to be wet and messy and I don't want my card to get all messed up. So the best way to show you what I'm thinking of is to just go ahead and start demonstrating. You may have noticed my stencils here. Now all I did was create these kind of meadowy, mountainy shapes to them. There's no rhyme or reason. And when I have that all ready to go, I can hold this down, and I've labeled it sky, and I've already tried it, so it's nice and blue. When I spray this, only the blue is going to affect this exposed area. So by covering the rest of my card, when I lift away, I'm going to have a clean line rather than spray everywhere. In addition, I also have 2 layers for grass. I have grass 1 and I have grass 2. Grass 1 is going to cover the same space, but just inverse. And so now I'm going to be spraying all of my green grass here. And then I'm going to go in again and spray another, really soak it and get a nice dark green. So it's foreground, which is the front, which is grass 2, middle ground, grass 1, and then finally background, sky. It is a little confusing, and I would encourage you to try it first before you start, which is why I'm explaining it to you now. It is also a good idea just to put a little bit of some tape glue runner on some of these edges so that the paper stays down on the card. That way you're getting the least amount of bleeding as possible. It is going to bleed, but the effect it gets is pretty fun, so I don't mind. All right, there's grass 2, sky, and grass 1. All right, with that all out of the way, I'm gonna move that. I do also have my heat gun plugged in and ready to go if I need to dry down my ink anymore. And let's get this show on the road. I do want to have a bit more sky. I don't want, you know, a huge sky, and I don't want just a itty bitty little sky. I want like a good chunk. So I think I'm gonna go here and here and just lightly press down. Kind of shake up my mist, pop it open, and it is going to get on your hands, so have some toweling ready. And let's spray. All right. So you can see it's really overlapping, it's creating great texture, but it did fill my whole kind of cutting board upper area, so that's why I said have it nice and covered. And I'm just gonna go in with my heat gun just to set this all. And I think I'm actually gonna do a little more. There we go. Now we're talking. What I did here is I just focused my spray closer to my horizon line, which is my little mountain, and less up top, so that way it's kind of a fun gradient and I get all these really unique speckles. So let's take this off. All right, not bad. Like I said, you might get some little bits and bobs that leak through. However, we're just gonna go over and we're gonna cover it, so it's okay. I'm gonna set that aside. And I've labeled everything so I know what's what, I don't have to guess. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna cover what I wasn't able to fix. Push all this down, push, push, push. And you can even turn this around so that way you're getting an even coating. And it's just easier to see, honestly. All right, same thing. I'm gonna go with my green. Now I'm gonna go in with my last, and I do have some wet spots, but that's okay. I'm just gonna cover this over, and I'm really gonna saturate this bottom part with my grass too. I have my foreground, my middle ground, and my background all ready to go. My hands are completely covered in my spray mist, so take that into consideration if you want to wear some gloves. And now I'm going to take my little die cuts and start opening up my stamps. And then here I just have my Master's Touch brush markers. These have a fine tip and then a nice like calligraphy felt other tip end. And I think I'm just gonna kind of lightly define and as you can see, I'm not really using precise lines because this background is all about having some texture and some irregularities. And then I can even kind of go in with my pen and just kind of speckle. And then in addition, I'm going to go with my white gel pen. Let's see if I can actually, there we go. And I'm just going to highlight the high points. So the top of the hill is usually the brightest, and closer to the bottom. And I'm just gonna go in with a little marker and add just some little blush and some little ears to my lamb. So he's not totally plain. And then maybe just a little. There we go. There we go. So here we go. The final bits. I have my foam feet, and I am going to kind of pre-lay my stamps. I'm gonna arrange them in a way that I like them the most. And then this is perfect in case I see something that I don't like anymore or change my mind. I'm gonna go in with my foam. I'm thinking that my field needs a little bit of flowers, so to give kind of like a flowery field, I'm just going to go in with some of these green hues and speckle them around to mimic that idea. That all looks good to me. Now let's make sure everything's lined up, which it is. There we go. I'm actually gonna go from the side, just so I can really see. Now with this card, I really do want to let it sit and just dry. I don't want to continue putzing with it. I don't want to continue putting anything else on it. I just am going to leave it and see how it dries down. I can see right away that I do have some very wet, dark patches. So this is a perfect card to make and get a little messy, get really creative, but also just be mindful to let it be. Don't overwork it. If you feel like you get to a point where you're done, be done. Don't work anymore. That's the worst mistake that you can make as an artist and something that I struggle with. So I'm going to be done with it. I'm going to let it all sit and dry. And honestly, I'm quite proud of it. I think it turned out really fun. It's unique. And it, like I said, it was a little bit messy, but getting messy sometimes is what makes the process all the more enjoyable. With that said, we would love to see what you will create with our clear stamp sets. So when you post on social media, hit us with a hashtag stamp with us. That again is hashtag stamp with us. That way we can see exactly what you will bring to life. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.